Earlier this week, Georgia Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff, who's running for re-election and is seen as a potential 2028 White House contender, said this.
He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace.
Trump hit back.
You mean Pee Wee Herman? Pee Wee Herman look-alike?
But during the 2024 campaign, some in Trump's orbit nicknamed the 35-year-old Harp the human printer because she follows the president with a portable printer to print out articles she believes he should read. Trump's been known to call her something else.
The president didn't call her the human printer. He called her my conveyor belt because she was constantly able to feed him the things he wanted.
Axios White House reporter and CBS News contributor Mark Caputo notes Harp also has access to the president's Truth Social account.
Natalie Harp has the closest access.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Trump is piping. One, because in my headcanon, as I've said over and over again, Trump is a gay man. He only has sex for power. He is asexual, biromantic. If you were to ask me, is Natalie Harp coming around Trump's nether regions? Like, is she physically in the premise of Trump's bussy, for example? I would say yes. Not for some sexual reasons, but to change his diaper. That's my assessment. My assessment on this is they're not fucking. He's not piping. He's not hitting that. They are in a non-romantic... Well, Natalie might actually have romantic feelings for him because she is a fucking whole-ass freak. But anytime she's coming near his nether region, it is for a very specific purpose, and it has nothing to do with sex. Yeah. Situation room. And what they're doing is just live tweeting Kamala Harris. And what's even funnier is that things have literally not changed. Like, Trump is president now, and this is still all he does. It's kind of wild, man. What a fucking ridiculous world we live in. This guy is the commander of the military, okay? He's the commander-in-chief. He is in charge of one of the world's largest nuclear arsenals. He did January 6th, and we still elected him back into office. And now he spends most of his time talking about how grass is him. She's likely why Jennings got picked. Turns out Scott's little meltdowns over Ossoff saying Trump travels with Natalie were audition tapes. Jennings sends us clips of his media appearances defending Natalie Harp to the White House as he auditions for the press secretary job. Oh my God. My ops. The Trump-Natalie talking point is just a culture war issue. Conservatives love that Ossoff is talking about it because it gives conservatives something to pretend to be angry about while it keeps Ossoff from talking about policy. No needle move, just endless criticism. Yeah, I mean, I can't stand that conservatives even feel like they have a leg to stand on, like they have any room here to complain. Like, oh, you're using... Oh, how dare you say that Natalie Harp is possibly having sex with the president? Like, this Trump slop sells on YouTube just from one liberal channel. New update, Trump's female aide rocks Washington. Major update on Trump's young female aide surges into news. Uh-oh, Trump confronted with question on young female aide. Bombshell, Natalie Harp update stuns the country. Yeah, I got to do this. I got to do lip slop. I have to do lip slop, man. What am I doing? I'm going to keep talking about Natalie. I'm going to keep talking about Natalie Harp. Oh, my God. Savage burn. Everybody knows Donald Trump having booty sex with Natalie Harp. Natalie jumped into a trunk just to be close to him. I know, dude. I know. I know the fucking stories. I've been reading. I've been following the lip slop as well. Natalie Harp is a total freak show. Okay? A complete nutter. Just a totally psychotic individual. Don't know how else to put it. She's out of her dang mind. Okay? She is. Her story starts with, I guess, like her claiming that Donald Trump saved her life with the right to try, that she claims she has some kind of unique bone cancer, and then right to try helped her. That she like got the experimental drug that saved her from this otherwise like unfixable bone cancer style disease. Then, where can I find a freak like her for me? Okay, dude, that's crazy. She's like the chick in Obsession. You don't want that kind of smoke. So after that life-saving medical intervention, her obsession with Donald Trump grew even further. She became an anchor on One American News, and she was like aggressively trying to become a part of Donald Trump's inner circle. Yes, Keith Edwards is correct. It literally is the same picture. He saved your life and you're mad that you just want to wipe his diarrhea ass? Yeah, I am not. And there was an article written about it in the New York Times. Several videos shared with the Times show Miss Harp sprinting across great distance to keep up with Mr. Trump's golf cart as it putters across his course in Scotland. I also am sorry if I was an embarrassment walking the course in Scotland, she wrote in a letter to the president that was viewed by the Times. So this is the other thing. She writes little letters for Donald Trump all the time. The letter goes on to say, I want things to always be right between us. I also know I've been distracted all week, forgetting to eat throughout the days and even forgetting to sleep and only catching a couple hours at a time. The letter concludes, with all my heart, Natalie. And it's so funny because all of these stories, in every single one of these stories, there is always a new photo that I had not seen before. And all of these photos look more insane than the last. She's always creepily standing by him. She always has that creepy smile. She's always looking at Trump or looking in his direction obsessively. It is actually an insane story. I know it's lip slop, but it's actually damn good lip slop. I was annoyed that Jon Ossoff was like, yeah, you're flying around with Natalie. And then everyone was talking about how Jon Ossoff is the greatest orator of all time and blah, blah, blah. But then most people were like, what the fuck is Natalie? Who is this guy talking about? I'm actually extremely online and I didn't even know it. I did know who Jon Ossoff was talking about because I'm fucking insane. It turns out she was also responsible for the Obama being portrayed as monkeys in the AI video. She was the one who retruthed that truth. She never takes a day off, not even on Sundays. She works out of the Oval Office, and she's gotten a regular seat on Marine One. She texts with world leaders on the president's behalf. She stays up late with him, drafting social media posts. She rarely speaks on camera, and yet she's never not there, ever present with a wide smile, her eyes fixed on the president. She is Natalie Harp, the 35-year-old West Wing aide who is the utmost gatekeeper to President Trump, a one-woman conduit of information operating entirely outside of the usual chain of command. The public's interest in Ms. Harp exploded after she was revealed last week to be one of the few lucky folks who joined the president inside an airplane catering container to be whisked out of Turkey under the threat of attack by Iran. So she had a higher priority, in Trump's eyes at least, than Marco Rubio did. This week, she became the subject of a political attack line delivered by Jon Ossoff, the Democratic senator from Georgia, who said the president, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar. By the way, I'm going to repeat my statement one more time for all the freaks. I love Jon Ossoff. I want to hug and kiss Jon Ossoff. I want to be in a relationship with Jon Ossoff where we have sweaty, hot sex all the time. This is not the case. I'm simply saying that Jon Ossoff has figured out how to do liberal sloppyism, constantly hitting Trump on corruption, constantly hitting Trump, never backing down. This is another one of those incidents where he is so tuned in to the frequency of liberal wine moms that get all of their news and information from MS Now. Like, he is such a blue sky liberal. He is such an MS Now liberal. He is hashtag resistance liberalism 1.0 from 2016. But liberals love him. I would go so far as to say this. He is like the bizarro universe AOC, where his legislative track record is abysmal, whereas AOC's is fantastic. But on the comm side, is capable of presenting himself as this like bold anti-Trump fighter, whereas AOC, unfortunately, at times, she doesn't come across as bold. Like, AOC's strength is her legislative track record, which is as close to unblemished as you can possibly be in American Congress. Jon Ossoff's legislative track record is the exact opposite. It is so bad. He does liberal sloppyism. However, I lived in a district where Ossoff first ran for Congress, and when he first ran for Congress and nearly won outright in the special election jungle primary, every single one of my high school friends' mothers was flicking their beans to Jon Ossoff. He's always been this smooth. Yeah. You're asking Hakeem Jeffries with Riz to change his policy, Lamont. Yes. My real dark horse in the Georgia race, if there is to be a senator from Georgia who runs for office, I say go Raphael Warnock, go. But the Raphael Warnock of 2018, when he was a liberation theologist. So he did that little tweak. That one mere mention of Natalie unleashed a firestorm. And the senator singling out of Ms. Harp triggered a particularly ferocious response from many corners of Trump world, White House aides, lawmakers on Capitol Hill, conservative influencers, and at least one cabinet member took to the ramparts on X to defend Ms. Harp's honor. There were accusations of sexism from the right, cries of snowflakery from the left. Mr. Trump deflected when a reporter from CNN asked him about Mr. Ossoff's comments. But a social media account run by the administration then attacked the reporter in unusually personal terms, invoking her children. While the furor intensified, I think there was a good reason for why the media decided there was blood in the water and went on a feeding frenzy. And we found out some insane things about Miss Harp in the process. She collects the taxpayer-funded salary of $150,000. Her double-barreled title is special assistant to the president and executive assistant to the president. At work, she can be a bit of a loner, even in his West Wing, in which loyalty to the president seems to know no bounds. Miss Harp's displays of devotion have unnerved some of her colleagues. I'll give you some examples. Natalie Harp was not allowed to have permanent residence in Mar-a-Lago. So I believe at some point she has run into Donald Trump's car and put herself in the trunk. She stayed not in Mar-a-Lago. She slept in the women's locker room in Bedminster. Her unlimited fealty and devotion knows no bounds. She also worked in the White House without security clearance for a year. Her lack of security clearance is one of the several red flags raised about Harp internally by Trump's top aides. There's also her brother, her family have all kind of like disowned her a little bit, or not her entire family, but her brother is like some socialist stoner guy who lives in Latin America. And he also called her out as well. CNN broke the trunk story. Meet Natalie Harp, the aide so close to Trump, she once rode in an SUV trunk to accompany him.
The president likes people who like him, and he loves people who love him. And it's hard to find someone who is sort of more devoted to President Trump than Natalie Harp.
To give you a sense of how close Harp is to the president, CBS News reported earlier this month she was one of 3 aides, plus Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who secretly flew with the president out of Turkey on a government plane instead of the larger 747 usually used as Air Force One. Her role and influence has been under renewed scrutiny ever since.
Preston Harp has been estranged from his sister for a few years, but obviously you can see they grew up together. He's sharing these photos with out front of them together as children, weighing in on the intense attention that Natalie is now getting after Democratic Senator John Ossoff raised questions about her role in this White House. Preston, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, and I know you've shared some photos with us of you and your sister Natalie as children. Obviously, there you are, Padres fans. There you are with your parents. And now your sister is front and center in the news. I mean, front and center as it gets. Did you ever think you'd see something like this?
No, it really blows my mind.
I mean, you know, your sister, my understanding is, first became known to Trump back in 2019. And at the time, she credited him, Preston, with helping her beat a tragic battle, but one that she incredibly beat with bone cancer. Here's what she said.
This president pushed that forward and possibly saved your life.
He did. As I like to say, I'm not dying from cancer anymore thanks to President Trump. I'm living with cancer. I'm living the quality of life that I always wanted to have, that it took me 4 years to find because I wasn't offered it here. It took President Trump going to Washington to be able to get that for me.
I don't even understand what the fuck is up with this, like, President Trump gave me a secret potion and saved my life shit. Like, what capabilities does this potion have?
After that, Preston, she had speaking slots at the Faith and Freedom Conference, at the 2020 RNC, right? She became very high profile and then started working for Trump. How much do you think she truly believed that Trump saved her life?
Well, that's an interesting question. But if she thinks about it, what he did was he made experimental drugs legal to try, and that insurance would pay for it. So it's not like he like physically saved her life, you know? It's kind of different. Like, it's like Donald Trump didn't pay his own money to save my sister's life. So it really just depends how you look at it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, and look, I guess it's just one example of everyone trying to understand, you know, who this person is who spends so much time and, you know, is with the president all the time, right? He's the commander in chief and she has such an important role. So there was a series called The Art of the Surge just a couple of years ago, Preston, 2024. And in it, your sister talks extensively about working for Trump. I just wanted to play a clip of it for you. Here she is.
Politics was never something I liked. Business was my background, real estate, MBA. I was very much not interested in politics in California. I feel like you get the same kind of sort of politicians. But when I was sick, I started watching the Republican debates. He was my first exposure to politics, and I loved it. Like, this guy, you know, he gets it.
So she says there, he was her first exposure to politics, right? You guys grew up in the same home, the same family, so you understand where she's coming from in a way that no one else does.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think drew her to him?
Definitely not her.
Yeah.
Well, my mom raised us with the idea that American exceptionalism was the correct way of looking at things.
Is this guy a HasanAbi head, by the way? I feel like it's kind of wild that he just, because he says some shit on his interview where I'm like, this dude is like he's not only a pothead, but also like a little bit of a socialist.
That the United States is the boss of the world, that like, you know, slavery was back then, that was normal. People weren't bad because they had slaves. And honestly, and it's like Trump wants to take all those books out of schools. He wants to rewrite history. And so like, I think that my sister, unfortunately, didn't break out of that delusion that my mom raised us with. And Trump is like everything that my mom taught us to respect. So I think that's where her infatuation for Trump comes from, honestly, because I don't think it's a physical attraction. Let's get real, you know, like personally, I don't think so.
So when you use the word infatuation, I understand your point about, you know, the nature of it. I mean, she obviously is his assistant. They call her the human printer, right? She prints everything. She takes his social media dictation. She accompanies him on almost every trip, including when he goes to Mar-a-Lago or his golf club in New Jersey on the weekends. And she was, of course, Preston, as we're all now aware, one of the very few people who did not include the Secretary of State or Treasury that Trump took off Air Force One via that catering truck. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that. If you're really friends and loyal to your team, why would you just go peace out and take another airplane when you think the other airplane's going to get shot down? Like,
what do you think it is about her? I mean, what do you make of how much the
Meanwhile, this guy's a human fax machine, all fax, no printer. No, I love this guy.
President relies on her? We've learned a lot, you know, I mean, from Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swann's new book, we've learned, right, about his incredible reliance on her at all hours of the day to post social media posts, just as one example.
Yeah, I think that Trump's best friends are people who are his fan club, you know, like, and so she's his biggest fan. And so that's probably why he likes her. And like, she's good
he's
looking.
not Hasanabi head. But he's based.
She's got a good personality. Like, I don't know.
Bro, what is he supposed to say? Trump wants to fuck my sister? I mean, if there's one guy who would say some shit like that that's a little bit out of pocket, it's this guy, right? I mean, am I crazy? It kind of strikes me as the type of dude who would say that on CNN.
I want to ask you, Preston, about something that
she thinks that he saved. He thinks that he saved her life. So, like, somebody living with that kind of gratitude, that must feel pretty good.
I want to ask you about something. I don't know if you knew about this. You probably didn't. But we're just breaking it here at CNN this hour, and that is two sources, Preston, are telling
Let's see who he follows.
CNN that your sister was involved. Okay. Back in October 2023, right? The context here is Donald Trump's motorcade was going to leave Trump Tower for a court appearance, okay? And they were all getting into the motorcade.
Oh, yeah.
There was sort of a screaming match about who was getting in what car.
Yeah, no, he's a socialist. This is anti-imperialista, socialista, internacionalista, músico on his account. And he posts nonstop about Palestine. This guy's the GOAT, man. This guy's awesome. He's posting about Hassan Kanafani.
Turned out that there wasn't room for Natalie. So she insisted, she said no. Trump had personally asked her to come to this court appearance, so she needed to be in the car. Now, according to these sources, the end result is that your sister jumped into the trunk of one of the motorcade vehicles to go to the court appearance in Lower Manhattan.
That's really funny. I didn't even know about that.
I mean, what is your reaction to that? I mean, you're laughing, but I mean, is it funny or what? I mean, you know her, so that's why.
I'm sorry. It's actually kind of sad. That's obsession. That's like an unhealthy obsession with someone. If you're going to jump into the trunk of their car, like.
So I mentioned Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swann's book, Regime Change, Preston, which of course I know you've heard a lot about it, but in that, Natalie's name became known to a lot of people, right? Prior to the whole NATO plane incident, she was in the book as an important player, and her role, her importance to the president became clear. They report that she left him, the president, a series of letters in personal spaces where she told him, "You're all that matters to me," in one, and another one she writes, "I want to bring you joy," and then they say that Trump said, "Your sister is the only one who loved him as much as his wife and kids." So what is your reaction to this? Does this sound like her, or the person that you knew well, your sister?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I'd say since she was like 16, she's had an obsession with, gosh, how do I explain this? She's written letters to other presidents. Let me put it that way.
What the fuck? Hey, yo! She's like one of those like Charles Manson fan type individuals.
And so like her dream came true finally.
Oh, interesting. So you're saying that she actually was very aware of politics, right? And that she had written other presidents' letters. Do you happen to know which ones or what they were about or anything?
Bro, that's like, dude, fetishizing every president like this is almost as crazy as being obsessed with like serial killers. Like, what a strange fetish. What a strange thing to just like almost moving like Thomas Crooks. Yeah, true.